Businesses can save millions with common sense. The other day, I was at the store and texted my wife to ask if she needed anything. Get a cereal box, and if eggs are on sale, get a dozen, she responded. I found that the eggs were on sale, so I bought a dozen cereal boxes as instructed. When I got home, I didn't understand why she got mad at me. Communication can be challenging, but sometimes miscommunication costs more than a dozen cereal boxes. Imagine that you're the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar corporation living in Manhattan. Your luxury apartment is 2 blocks from your office. You walk to it daily. Someone suggested that you drive to work. You say that makes no sense, but they insist that they will analyze your current situation and let you know why you should. They proceed to interview you and draw a process map. Here are the steps. Open your front door, step into the apartment elevator, walk down the street, get coffee if you feel like it, enter your office building, swipe your ID on the sensor, step into the office elevator, push the button to the top floor, walk out into your floor, greet your assistant, and step inside your office to settle down for a day's work. The decision to drive to work has very little to do with this process. Yet, this person who had good intentions overwhelmed you with unnecessary information. Earlier, I worked with the leadership of a multi-billion-dollar corporation. A similar thing happened there, though at a much larger scale, costing the company millions. This company, let's call it Watermelon Inc., manufactures a product sold to customers like you and me. Watermelon started to receive a lot of complaints about delayed delivery times. These complaints eventually reached the ears of leadership. The CEO directed his organization to investigate. In many companies, if the senior leadership makes a request, people drop everything they're doing and focus on the request. A large team was assembled to tackle the request. They included people from finance, strategy, planning, IT, manufacturing, domain experts, supply chain experts, sales, marketing, and others. A program management office was set up and a team assembled to coordinate the work. An RFP was issued. A few consulting companies responded. 3 months later, after an intense and formal selection process, one company was selected to help. The overall cost, not including the involvement of the Watermelon personnel, was $13 million. The time frame was 12 weeks. If you include the time of the Watermelon personnel, that would be closer to $20 million, just to identify the cause of the problem, not necessarily fix it. The project kicked off, and the consultants started interviewing many people at Watermelon to understand how things worked. The idea was they could put together a process map that indicated the current state of things, which would in turn highlight problematic areas. Eventually, after multiple meetings, reviews, and data analytics, an extensive process map was presented to executive leadership. It took the consulting company 3 hours to walk through the map. From their side, they shared everything they did to give leaders the confidence that they understood the problem thoroughly and hoped to get a much larger subsequent contract to fix the problem. Ultimately, they identified multiple problems with the process and recommended that Watermelon dive into the second phase to optimize the operations. Bob, an executive I had worked with earlier, invited me to take a second look. After spending about 3 days understanding the work done in the past 12 weeks and talking to a few stakeholders, I understood the situation well. I met Bob and I told him that I could draw this on his whiteboard at his office. He asked me to hold on for a few minutes while he fetched his colleagues, Mary, Adam, and Ravi, to join the conversation. Here's how I mapped out the process. The customer creates an order through the website. which goes to sales, which then goes to distribution and shipping. If there's not enough stock, then distribution sends a message to manufacturing to increase production, which is also communicated to sales for analytics. Manufacturing needs to get some products from some of its suppliers. Some of them are Tier 1 suppliers, some Tier 2, and some Tier 3. One Tier 3 supplier produces material that needs to meet government regulations, which takes time. This is where the bottleneck was. When a product is out of stock, the time it takes to manufacture it after sourcing parts from the supplier causes a delay because of the required regulatory check. Previously, leadership directed staff to hold minimal stock so the suppliers could shoulder the cost. However, that direction caused delays in this case. So executive leadership had to make an exception for products that required a longer lag time and stock them in larger quantities. The process can also be updated to give manufacturing more advanced notice, informing the Tier 3 supplier much earlier. The CEO's original request to address the customer complaints resulted in an extensive process map with no value. This was because the intent of the communication got lost. Executives wanted a simple way to understand what actions they should take to reduce the customer complaints. Instead, they got a complex process map of how things worked and multiple things that they must invest in, a big communication problem. If you live in Manhattan and consider buying a car to drive to work, a process map will not help you make that decision. Likewise, process maps are not the solution for all business problems. As transformation architects, we must use many tools, including visuals, storytelling, listening, empathy, intent, environment, and common sense. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. To receive a one-page visual summary of this and all future videos, please sign up on my website before the next video comes out. Thanks for watching.